you got to go through some things to get somewhere.
You have to go through the fire. You got to be tested.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and you
Yes.
don't have to have every scar I've had, but you need to get some ouch on you.
Follow the Leader features dynamic women entrepreneurs in their journeys to becoming a success in business. This podcast is an inspirational space for entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs, and thought leaders as they share their keys to success. I am Chanel Christoph Davis, the CEO and founding partner of the largest woman and minority-owned sales tax advisory practice in the country, Davis & Harmon, LLC.
Today, our guest leader is Genma Stringer Holmes. She is an amazing entrepreneur. She established her business in 1993, Holmes Pest Control, LLC, in Hermitage, Tennessee. In 2005, she embarked on a new adventure. She created GSH Consulting, which is a media company, the company that produces her own show, Living Your Best Life, which is a nationally syndicated radio show. So, Genma, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you in the guest leader spot so that you can share all the knowledge that you have with our audience. Our audience is entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs. So we know you have a lot to share with us today.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I call us the forever working folks, but I love it. I love what I do. I just enjoy meeting people.
Yes.
And when you meet folks and you forget that you're working. So when you're having fun, it works out.
It works out, yeah. So I see here, I note that you were one of the 25 most influential Black women in business by the the Network Journal, excuse me.
Yeah.
And so that's how we found you.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
your fabulous profile in this the 20th anniversary publication of the Network Journal.
Okay.
So that gave me a little bit of background about you.
You know what's interesting about that is I've been knowing Azeed for ever, and I was in his 40 under 40 when I was
Under 40.
that age back then.
Under 40, yes.
And so to come full circle, to go from being 40 under 40 and then to become considered one of the top influential women, it was such a mind-blowing thing for me that, and I still pinch myself a little bit because it came at a time when I had just lost my grandmother.
Oh.
And when he called me personally, it blew my breath away, but I felt like it was more for her.
Oh, wow.
And coming from her to say, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And I need you to stay focused. And that's how I accepted that. And that's how I still receive that honor right now.
Wow. So that was a huge transition moment for you to lose your loved one, your beloved, and then to be honored this way.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like it was for her.
Yes.
She just wasn't here to accept it. But it kind of said, all that you have put into your children, into your grandchildren, and into your great-great-grandchildren, everything's going to be okay.
It's a legacy.
And
she lives
that's what
on.
I see.
Beautiful. What's your grandmother's name?
And I'm getting a little teary-eyed, but my grandmother's name, everyone called her Miss Jackson.
Okay.
All right. So,
appropriate.
But I called her mother, as in Queen Mother.
Yes. Yes.
And so mother she was my rock. She was my hero. She was my girlfriend. I could call my grandmother and talk to her about things that I probably couldn't talk to anyone about.
Wow.
And then as my grandmother passed, it just been a year. It's just been a year this month.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember times in the last 2 years when all I could do was entertain her with the craziness that was
Yes.
going on around us. And it's like it gave her energy. Whereas at one time, my grandmother was who I sought counseling, who I felt nurtured, the energy that's in me, who gave me motivation to continue to do whatever, you know.
Yes.
But she's here. She's here in this interview.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel it. Absolutely. So take us back to the beginning, Jama. First of all, I love
Okay.
your name. I don't think I've
It's
ever met a Jama.
uh-huh.
And
Well, it's an Italian name.
okay.
A girl from Mississippi with a name like Genma Donati is my name.
Wow.
So listen, and I was called Gina, Jana, I just everything. But I got to a place in my life where it's okay. I know who I am and whose I am. So if you mispronounce my name, that was okay. But let me give you a little history on the name. My mother was definitely a Renaissance woman. She studied every language and everybody.
Wow.
Dante Alighieri's wife was named Genma Donati, and he was Italian philosopher. If you've heard of Dante's Inferno, Hades,
Yes.
all of those things, that's Dante, and his wife was named Genma Donati. And my son, my oldest son, is named Franz Alighieri. He has Dante's middle name.
Wow.
And my, I just kept it going.
You kept it going. You kept it. I love it. You left it. You kept it going. The legacy going.
Yes. And what I learned about naming your children and putting a name to something,
Yes.
you can aspire to greatness by what you are called and what you answer to.
Yes.
So I think just by giving me a name like Genma Donati in Mississippi
Yes.
raised the bar
For you.
that I had to step up and
Right.
step into it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So when you decided to start your business in 1993, what made you want to be an entrepreneur? What started this whole venture into entrepreneurship?
It was a drive. I'm a Girl Scout to the day I die. Girl Scout taught me leadership. I was in Troop 452 in
wow.
Mississippi. Miss Green was my troop leader. I sold more cookies. I probably got more badges than they could print or make.
Wow.
But it also let me know that you can make money, So I was selling cookies for the Girl Scouts, but in my head, I was like, I could do this myself. Bake my own cookies.
Right. This is an enterprise.
I started thinking like that at early in life. And from the time that I moved away from home and moved to Starkville, moved to at Mississippi State, came later to Nashville, from the day I stepped off the Greyhound bus, and I said Greyhound bus,
Right.
with my trunk. You didn't have a suitcase, you had a trunk.
Yes.
Right? The blue one with the metal around it, which I still have. And all my belongings were in that trunk. I said, I got it. This town is made for entrepreneurship. Now, I didn't know that was the word. I just said I want to be in business for myself.
Yeah, that's a newfangled word, entrepreneur. That's a new thing.
Yeah. We call it you the boss. And so I wear that. So. But I just knew then that this was something that I really wanted to do. I didn't know where, I didn't know how, but I remember getting business cards made up at, I think at the time it was called Kinko's, and it had marketing resources on it. And I had a P.O. box out at the airport.
Okay.
Now I'm going to tell you what that means. You have to walk in it before you can feel the shoes, you got to try them on. And so getting those business cards made when I was still in school set the tone for me that I was going to do something.
Yes.
And I had to follow up and follow through. And so as I started matriculating into the Nashville community by meeting people, getting to know people, reading the Sunday newspaper to see who's who and who's going where and who's not supposed to be there. That's how I learned Nashville. And as I kept looking, I kept noticing that a lot of the people that are transplants in this city were also the business owners.
Okay. And
the more I read, the more I wanted to meet people. So I would get, at that time, it was called the Nashville Banner. They had a Sunday section, and I would put the Sunday section up on, and at that time, it was the society thing.
Yeah, society pages.
And this, we're talking about 85, 86, 87, 88. And I would circle the names of people that I saw over and over in the newspaper.
Okay. To figure out who's the who's who. Who do you need to know?
Who I need to know and where do I meet them so that I can get to know them. And guess where I got to know them?
Where?
I went and worked at a temporary agency called Jane Jones. I'm giving you some deep history.
Okay. Okay.
And Jane Jones eventually became Ronstadt USA, the temporary agency.
Yes.
But I answered the phone for the owner, Jane Jones. And her secretary was named Susan. And I would answer the phone, and I started noticing that some of the people that names that were in the newspaper were calling Jane.
Okay.
And then I started putting two and two together. And then one day Jane said, "You want to go to a business meeting with me? Because you're always listening in on conversations that I'm having." And I said, "Yes, ma'am."
She like, "You seem really interested. So let me sow a seed here."
So what I learned from that was that in order to aspire to be something, you got to set a goal and you got to know where to go to reach those goals. Now, this was feeling around in the dark, like I didn't have a light, but I could make my way to the door. And then once I made my way to the door, I turned the knob and walked through the door. Now, all she said was, "Would you like to go with me?" From that moment on, I had it. I networked with people. I got to know folks. And so when the opportunity came for me to start Holmes Pest Control, I had already built a base.
Right.
It wasn't like I was walking out in off a cliff. And I'm glad I'm able to say this to you guys because they think I pulled the pest control customers out of the thin air. No, the pest control customers came with me from other connections and relationships and contacts and other things that I was doing. When I came back to them and said, "We're going to start a pest control company." Now, they did look at me like I was crazy. And they said, "Say what?" But guess what? They're still my customers.
Still your customers to this day. Wow. And why pest control? Because you started off kind of with a generic view that you wanted to be a business owner, but why did you hone in on pest control?
I'm gonna give you that background. I was acting, modeling, marketing, and PR. Now, pest control does not add up in any of that, right? But my husband was working for a company, and he was the general plant manager for Anheuser-Busch, and they were automating bread plants. Anheuser-Busch back in the early 90s, late 80s and early 90s owned a tremendous amount of bread companies, bakeries.
Okay. All right.
Makes sense, you know.
Okay. The
beer
yeast
made from
and
wheat.
Okay. Okay.
Barley. So it's like, okay. And he kept complaining about the pest control. And I kept saying, "Well, what's the problem? Don't you have a company?" He said, "But they don't do their job." And then I thought, well, why would you pay them?
Right.
And he kind of looked at me like, "Well, that's a good question." but he still continued to pay them and complain.
And complain about it.
Right. And so one day I saw the invoice for a commercial company. And I told him, if you do the math, you're on the wrong side of the check.
Of the equation.
The check, because he wrote the check and gave it to them. If he was on the right side, he would be getting the check.
Receiving the check and cashing it. Right. I
was like, no, there's something wrong with this equation. So I started researching. This is before Google now. I started researching pest control companies. And so the way I found my research was I went to the Small Business Administration office, which had a score.
Score is amazing.
Yes.
It comes up quite often on this podcast. Yes.
Well, let me tell you, I believe in them. And I say to anyone who does not line up with a score officer to get wisdom and advice, something's not right in your quest to own a business or become an entrepreneur. That's just me.
Yeah.
So my score representative was named Bill. And I love him to this. I mean, I mention him often. It just so happened that he was also a risk manager, retired risk analyst, a manager for the pest control industry.
Oh, wow.
And he said to me, I can give you some guidance on that industry. He says very few women and there's fewer minorities in that business. And I said, oh, yeah. And he said, the door is wide open. You just got to walk in. And I was like, oh, he's talking my language. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I didn't think I had to go kill the bugs. I just thought, I saw, hey, this is a great job. I run a company and everybody's happy.
Right.
No, I had to get up and close with roaches and everything else. But I was willing to learn. And I went out at his insistence, and I interviewed lots of mom and pop pest control companies.
Oh, wow.
And I kept noticing something. They didn't necessarily do customer service the way I would have done customers. They didn't have that folksy, hey, how you doing?
The warm touch. Yes.
Yes. And they didn't have the let me sit down and talk with you kind of, that was missing.
Yes.
They came in, they left an invoice. And I'm thinking that if you spend a little time massaging that relationship, you might have the house next door, across the street, and the one around the corner.
Right.
And so that was my strategy.
Yeah.
I'm going to engage my customers. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to find out how their children are doing. I'm going to find out, are you getting ready to have a new grandbaby? Well, let me send your card. And I do this to this day.
Right.
I send baby shower gifts. I send graduation gifts. I send wedding presents. And we are now when we started our company, we dealt with the owners, right?
Yes.
Now we're dealing with the owners' grandchildren.
The grandchildren. Wow.
The grandkids, because that majority of our customers are Caucasian, and they believe in succession.
And so they retired and passed the business on.
Yeah, they retire. And so, we at everybody's family reunion. We at everybody's graduation. We at everybody's wedding. We might be the only Black people at the wedding. And they was like, oh, yeah, that's our pest control company, and we service everyone at the wedding,
Wow.
And majority of them own corporations,
yes.
or they the CEOs of corporations, not just mom and pops companies. So
yes.
It's been a journey.
It's been a journey. So I like what you said there. You took the transactional nature that one would think pest control service is very transactional. Right?
It's very.
You go in there, you do a service, you leave an invoice, and you keep it moving. But you made it a personal relationship. You actually focus more on the owners and being more service focused.
Right.
Client service focused.
And let me tell you how that has worked for me. As a business owner, as a mother of 3 baby kids that are now grown people. And the grandmother of the most adorable child,
of course,
ever. And if I had him first, ain't no telling how far my company would be.
Oh, wow. Wow.
He's 7. But one of the things that I learned through not being transactional is there have been rough times in our lives because the more you live, the more you're going to encounter life.
Absolutely.
And the patience that people have had
Mm.
with me is because I had patience
With
with
them.
them.
Wow.
I have a friend, and I call them. My customers are family and friends. That's what I call them. I say, "You
Mm.
welcome into the family. Welcome to the friendship." Um, I had a friend. I have a friend that owned a chain of hair salons, and her company was going through a really hard time, but she had to have service now.
Right, because she was, yeah, taking care of her
She,
customers.
right, right. And she called me up and she said, "Hey, I'm not trying not to pay you, but we got some challenges going on, and just know that I'm good." And I said, "You good?" I said, "You just let me know if you need something."
Yes.
And we serviced that entire chain of hair salons for one whole year
Wow.
without sending her an invoice
Mm.
because we knew what was going on in her life.
Yes.
And at the end of the year, I was made whole
Wow.
and then some. And she said to me, "I never forget that you did not harass me.
Mm.
You didn't. Once she told me what was happening,
She was honest with you. Yes.
and all I could say was, I hope someone has, I hope people have that same grace with me." And there have been times in our lives where we have had challenges,
Mm-hmm.
like when my grandmother was ill, and I said, "Bye, y'all.
I'm
I'm
out.
going home to take care of my grandmother." The business was still here when I got back. The customers were here, and they were waiting on me with, you know, open arms to say, "We're here for you as you go through what you got to go through now that your grandmother's not gone." So you have to build relationships.
Yes.
And I do believe there's a time that you might need to be the enforcer,
Be stern. Yeah.
but it's rare
Yes.
do I have to enforce something
Yeah.
as far as getting paid and doing right. My motto is I'm going to go above and beyond the call to service you, and I want you to do right by me, and
Yes.
that's it.
Yeah. I think what you're talking about, people term now as conscious capitalism, is having a service heart, really coming from a place of service and goodness,
Yes,
treating people with fairness, and it comes back to you.
it does. It really does. And I say this to a lot of younger, and I'm not going to just say millennials.
Mm.
I'm just going to say someone is younger
Mm-hmm.
who have not been battle tested.
Mm-hmm.
What what is meant for you, nobody can put their hand on it.
Absolutely.
And I hear this from a lot of young creatives. I mean, I deal with a lot of creative types.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're worried about someone, my idea and this. And
Getting
I say I
stolen.
learned
Mm.
early on from one of my great mentors. He said to me, "No one's going to nurture your business like you.
Right.
And if they take what's yours, they're going to bring it back because they're not going to."
Listen, can I get a testimony up here today? Now you just spoke a word, but that is so true. I think people can get very caught up in
Yes,
what's
yes,
happening to the left and what's happening to the right.
that's right.
And if you focus on what's in front of you and focus on what's for you, it's gonna all work out in the end.
It's going to work out, and it may be unfair at the moment,
Right. And
but
uncomfortable.
I have seen it where things that was it was my idea
Mm.
and it was my creation,
Yes.
and then they tried to take it, and you know what, that baby got to hollering at night and got hiccups and coughing and hooping, because when it's your idea, it's your baby.
Right. So they want to drop that baby back off at your doorstep and say, never mind. You
Put a
can have
bow
it
on
back.
it and put an extra set of diapers in there and say, here you go, because this didn't work out.
This didn't work
And
out the way I
I
thought.
just someone to call me, just in the last 2 weeks saying,
Right.
we sure miss you. And I said, oh, okay.
Mm.
I knew what she was saying.
Yes.
We didn't appreciate what you brought to the table. But now that you're gone, there's no table or chairs.
Right. Right. We need you back, Jama.
Wait, and you know what? I moved on. I'm not in that place for you no more. So bye.
Right. Wow. Wow. So you alluded to the fact that you're working with more creatives now. So that takes us to your GSH consulting company, your media company, I assume?
Yes. That's a black baby Jesus moment right there. These creators would take you through it because
that's a different culture. It's a different culture altogether.
Yes, it's different because in pest control, it's simple.
Yes.
Get rid of my bugs. That's it. Nothing fancy, nothing, But when you start getting into the creative, that's more of heart and soul.
Mm.
And you can't necessarily draw that. It's not running across the floor at night with the lights when the lights come on.
Mm.
It's not scurrying.
Yes.
That's part of your DNA that you magically put together. That's a whole nother beast.
That's a whole nother level. Yeah.
Yes. And when you start dabbing into that area and that arena, you got to put some armor on you, and you have to really, really brush up on copyright issues.
Okay.
Because there's no copyright with killing a roach. I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Right. Right.
But when you get into my design, my work, my idea, my brainstorming, I brought that to you. You said this, we thought about that. That's different.
It's a different world.
It's a different thing, and you have to be more documentation. You have to do more documenting. You have to be much more contractual.
Mm-hmm.
I have no pest control homeowners under contract.
Wow. Okay.
None. Now, all my commercial properties are contractual.
Yes.
I wouldn't touch a graphic artist without a contract.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, lessons learned,
yes, absolutely.
I wouldn't involve myself in a column anymore without a contract. I wouldn't involve myself in just certain parts of
media,
photography work, video, just a whole 9 yards. It's a different beast. And guess what?
What?
It makes the pest control business look like I'm feeding a baby applesauce.
Looks like an easy street over there.
It's, oh my gosh, but it also gives me the it's an outlet to go.
It's your
have
creative
fun.
release. Yes.
Creative release, but I'm gonna tell you, it also makes me so much more appreciative of folks that are in the service industry, because if I'm dealing with a janitorial company, if I'm dealing with a lawn care company, I'm dealing with a roofer, if I'm dealing with even an accounting firm, I know exactly what I'm getting.
Yes.
That's a little bit different when you start dealing with, the
creative side.
The creative side.
Okay. So tell me about Living Your Best Life. What made you start that show? It's nationally syndicated. What is it about? Give me the rundown.
Let me tell you what was so amazing about this, and I'm pretty sure that you and I are gonna connect on this right here. We've already connected, but you're gonna go. So on the creative side, I was doing a lot of marketing PR for other companies, because people will actually say, you're in the media a lot. I want a little of that.
Gotcha.
But because I'm really not doing media. I'm doing me.
Right. Right. And they want to know, how are you staying so visible?
How you stay invisible? But the secret is you do right by folks, and hey, people call you. So that's the truth. But
Right.
anyway, if they want to think it's marketing genius, go right ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So what started out with me having the idea that as women of color
Mm-hmm.
and as people of color, we do not own the marketing message from print radio broadcasts.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you think of a lot of companies, you see that they own the messaging.
Mm-hmm.
You see their locks, they're in sync. They have the ad in the newspaper, you'll see them on TV, and then you hear them on radio. Well, actually, that's a network.
Yes.
And usually there's someone connected that owns all three.
Okay.
So I'm sitting one day and I'm working with, at this time I was working with David Stewart, the billionaire in St. Louis.
Okay.
Now, he's a billionaire. He owns Worldwide Technology, had just put
I'm
out a
very
book
familiar.
called Doing
Yes.
Business by the Good Book. I was representing him and I own a pest control company.
Yes.
And he was saying to me, now don't answer that phone saying Holmes Pest Control. And I was like, oh, okay. So that forced me to get another line at
Okay.
that time. But I was not about to do it till he was like, now, I was like, okay, sir. Well, and I was booking him to be on the radio.
Okay.
And I was getting his placement in articles and newspapers and everything. And this is what I noticed. As wonderful as his message was, and as spiritual as his message was, when I would book him on the radio, they would give him a 6-minute segment.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'd be hee hee, cuckoo, gaga after that. And
Okay.
there was no symmetry between what he just said and what the next segment was.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm going, oh, if you had him on for an hour, like you're doing, and if you had this connected with an article in the newspaper and said, as seen in today's paper, then this would be like, oh, I get
A bigger impact. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
a much greater impact for the client, but also a greater impact for us that's listening.
For the world,
we have a
yes.
frame of reference.
Mm-hmm.
The more I thought about that, the more I said, let me try this. And so I started out with publishing first.
Okay.
Because I had just learned the side of publishing from him. He self-published that book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes, but he had the money to write the check.
Right, because he's a billionaire. Yes.
He's a billionaire.
Yes.
I had pest control customers that own businesses. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just start right there then. And I started publishing little magazines here and there. And then from there, you would see the article in the magazine. Then you would see a story about them in the column in the newspaper. And then you would hear them on the radio.
Okay.
And then I kept building that. 1, 2, 3. Repeat. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And the more I was consistent with that, the more my pest control customers like, we like this.
Yeah, we need that too.
So our pest control customers are the advertisers.
Oh.
I'm not running around chasing advertisers.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I'm calling the same folks that I deal with every day. Because remember, Mr. Stewart told me, don't answer that phone saying Holmes Pest Control.
Right.
Well, I answer the phone saying Holmes Pest Control. If it works, it works.
Right,
okay?
right.
So my customers who advertise on my radio show
Mm-hmm.
are the same customers that I take care of for Holmes Pest Control.
Wow. So you were
To me, it's
cross-pollinating. It makes sense.
And to me, it's just it's not rocket science.
Right.
It just makes sense, especially when you are dealing with high end folks.
Right. Absolutely.
And when you know your market and you know your people and you know your audience, you know what they want. And my customers want what you do.
Yes.
You looking for folks that gonna engage somebody for an hour. That's exactly what I do.
Okay. Gotcha. So
And then I turn around and I put them in a news article. I write about them in a column, or I talk about I just mentioned how many times I mentioned this man name.
Yeah.
So he must be we must be talking some kind of way, right?
Yes.
It's bringing all of that full circle, and that connection stays together. It stays linked.
Yeah. If you created a
So
synergy, basically.
yes, and you're also a resource for your clients.
Yeah.
And they'll say, "Oh, now how did you get that customer? How did you get that interview with that person?" And I always say, "Oh, well, my pest control customer is his brother."
Mm.
Or that's my pest control customer's daddy. You know,
It just worked out that way. It's just
it
charmed.
just works out.
Yeah.
And you grow your garden.
Yeah. But I think
Your
you
garden.
definitely honed in on something. You identified a need. You were already out there as an expert, or showing that you had some type of expertise in the area of media and promotion for your own company.
Right.
You identified a need, or a need identified you, basically tapped you on the shoulder, and you went with it, which is, it could be scary, but you don't seem like you had any fear about making a decision to switch into media.
Well, I've been broke before, and you can just start over. I mean, really, but at the end of the day, long as I keep my pest control company as my bread and butter, I can take certain risks.
You can make
I
some
don't
swerves.
Yeah, I don't take a whole lot. I don't leap off of cliffs anymore. I used to.
Used to? That's another
I don't
podcast.
do it anymore, but it's a good feeling when you feel it in your gut.
Yes. So
And
you
you go,
follow your
"This is
instincts.
good." Yeah. And then now let me tell you, as you get older, you get wiser, and you want your gut to back up what you just experienced. So what I would do is, this is in my gut and I feel this deeply, but let me go research the numbers to make sure this works.
But I would venture to say that researching, because I wrote this down while you were talking earlier, you were a researcher from the beginning.
I'm telling you, it's called reading.
Before the internet, you were researching.
Yes. It's just reading. And,
Yes.
and when you're in Mississippi, you got two choices. You throw rocks, or you join the Girl Scout and read books. So
Right.
I was in the Girl Scout and I read books. So there.
Yes.
So the research is just natural to me. And let me jump to you to talk to you about how things work out on the research side. I got dabbling into this social media, and I said dabble. That's tongue in cheek. I was working with a friend, and I was doing some volunteer work, and she loved everything that I was doing. And she worked for Ohio State University.
Okay.
She called me up one day and she said, "Genma, this is really exciting what you're doing with this nonprofit," who basically didn't know what I was doing. And I said to her, I said, I got names and numbers. Now, in the business in the day, if you got names and numbers, you good.
Yeah.
I said, but social media, these folks, they put everything out there. They tell you where they live. They tell you when they eat. They tell you when they,
Everything about their life. Play by
everything
play.
about their life. And if you just sit and watch them, you can say, here's what you post when you post, and because this is who's gonna like it.
Okay.
She said, "Is it that simple?" And I said, "Absolutely, it really is." So I started doing some research.
Back to the research.
There you go. And right after I presented her with some numbers, she called me up and she said, "Would you come and work for us at the Ohio State University?" I said, the school?
Wow.
Like, wait a minute, the university? She said, yes. I said, okay. Now, she never told them that the consultant that was coming in to do a project with them was also the owner of a pest control company.
Was a pest control lady, yes.
Yeah, she never said that, but here's how God works. I knew that the provost at the Ohio State University was also used to be an entomologist at Purdue University.
Okay.
And we used to call him the bug man. He called me the bug lady. And we used to go to conventions and events and things together. And he just, he just kept into education and just moved up into becoming the provost at the Ohio State University.
Okay.
So as soon as I stepped my foot on that campus, guess who I went to meet?
You met the provost, the bug man.
The bug man. I was like, hey, buddy, how are you?
That's another full circle moment. Your life is full of full circle moments.
I'm serious. And anyway, long story short, I've been working with Ohio State University on a particular project. In this year, that project, dealing with social media and African American women and breast cancer.
Wow.
Won well over 6-7 communications awards.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That is amazing.
And listen, and folks go, so when did that happen? And I said, sometimes you don't say it until it's done.
Until it's done. And
then you announce it.
Absolutely.
So I've had the amazing opportunity to work for MD Anderson Cancer Center, University of Houston, Meharry University, the Ohio State University, on different research projects related to my love of reading, documenting things. So what I've learned through all of these different ventures, you got to be willing to reinvent yourself.
Absolutely.
While still staying true to yourself. Because when I went to Ohio State, I went up there and waved at the bug man. I was still the bug woman.
That's fabulous.
I did not change one iota about who I was or whose I was.
Yes.
And that's been my philosophy.
That's been your philosophy. Well, you did give me a little bit of foresight on what you have planned next. You gave me a little bit of tea, as they would say.
Okay.
You have a plan, and you're starting the process of owning several radio stations. I think that's incredible.
Well, let me, because now I'm not a spring chicken no more. So you got to talk about that succession.
Succession planning.
Drumming that in. So I got a grandbaby. He loves pest control, right?
Yes.
So I said, okay, I'm good. We can groom him to take over the business.
Okay.
In the meantime, I have to self-fund my retirement. And you go with what you know. So I've been in radio almost 10 years now. And one of the things I don't want to do is be the person behind the microphone.
Okay.
I want to be the owner of the station.
You don't want to be a talent. You want to be the owner. Yes.
I want to be an owner. And let me tell you why I use the title. I never say I'm a CEO. I never say, I'm the president. When Bud Adams came to Nashville with when the Oilers became here, one of the things I heard him say was that the owners in the NFL, everyone is an owner. They fired the CEO. I was like, okay.
Can't fire the owner.
Right. I'm the owner. And nobody's firing me. If you look at NFL owners, they die. They don't get fired. They just die. That's it.
Right.
So I picked up on that from being around NFL owners. They the owners, and that's that.
Yes.
They bring in who they want to bring in. They could be the CEO, the CFO, the whatever,
Right.
COO, football player, whatever. But at the end of the day, the owner
is consistent.
the owner.
Yeah. That's the constant in the equation, the owner.
That's right.
Okay.
So I want to own radio stations. I have been blessed to be a part of the Radio Hall of Fame. I'm
Amazing.
and one of the things that I did was I became a member of the board.
Okay.
And I networked with owners of radio stations.
Okay.
And they don't own one station.
They own several. It's like a network, a syndicate.
They own 3 and 4 and 5, and then they might own a couple of TV stations and a newspaper. So it goes back to what I said about the messaging and the marketing.
Yes. Having a synergy. Yes.
Having a synergy. And so I'm sitting there and I'm at the table with people who own stations throughout not just Tennessee, but in the Southeast.
Okay.
That's wealth times wealth.
Yes, absolutely.
And they can sell it when they want it, or they can buy up another one or what have you. But I'm looking at that and I'm going, okay, it doesn't matter whether or not you on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have to be on the air.
You don't have to be the talent. No, absolutely not.
Not in this day and age.
Right.
But you can own that station and you can put who you want on the air.
Well, I think one of the things that I'm coming to realize about you, Genma, is that one, you are a true risk taker. You have had many lives, right? So that's a testimony. The longevity really goes back to reincarnating, recreating yourself.
Yes.
Not having any fear to try a new challenge. So I think that's something great for our audience to take home with them, is to, if you're feeling something and your instincts are there, do your research. We're gonna always start with the research. I got that down. And basically, follow your heart and try things out. You can't be afraid.
You can't be afraid. And if it does not work, it's okay.
It's okay.
Because guess what? You tried and you say, girl, that did not work for me.
Exactly.
And you got a story to tell. And you move on.
You move on to the next thing. So you have to know when to dump it, move on, pivot.
But also make sure you have something that keeps you grounded. And Holmes Pest Control, believe me, that's your base.
Grounded. That's your base.
Yes, so, it's your base. And every entrepreneur that I've met, a true entrepreneur, everyone, it's a base there that keeps them coming back. Okay, I tried the ice cream parlor, but everything melted, so I'm gonna get on back over here.
I tried to be a dog groomer, but all the dogs ran away, so
that's right.
It's back to square one.
And each time you try something that's different or out of your comfort zone, but you may have a good skill. Skills are transferable.
Yes.
But you also pick up and learn
new skills. Absolutely.
Skills along the way with each new venture.
You're absolutely right. I've experienced that myself. Something that from an outside person's perspective may view it as a failure, but I know how much I learned from that experience.
Right.
That venture taught me so many lessons, and actually I'm able to bring that back to the base.
Right.
Everything I learned in a new venture, I'm bringing it back to the base.
You're bringing it back, and you come back fresh. People think, you're worn out. I don't agree with that. I come back with a fresh set of lenses.
Fresh set of eyes, fresh perspective.
Yes. A fresh perspective, and I go, that zip code over there is not good for me,
Right. It does. It gives you perspective. You're absolutely right. I love that.
perspective, and it also helped solidify what your principles are.
Yes.
If you can survive, and I share this with a lot of nonprofits. If you can survive working with nonprofits
Mm.
and the personalities that come with nonprofits
Yes.
as a volunteer,
Mm.
I'm talking about as a volunteer, because volunteering has a way of grooming you in business.
It does.
I mean, in Tennessee, if you're not giving of yourself in the community, that's a little
That's a red
people
flag. People paying attention. Yeah.
And it's like, so what's in it? You all about yourself. What about you?
Yes. What you giving back
But
to the
you don't have
community?
to always announce what you're doing. You just be consistent at what
Mm.
you're doing.
Just continue to show up.
That's right. And that's a great word. That's a great phrase. Show up. If we can show up and make sure that we're being counted,
Mm.
voices are being heard because we're present. Your presence can change a conversation. You know that, right?
Your energy. Yes. When you walk in a room. Absolutely.
So you got to be willing to be there. And
Mm.
too often, I have been, I have encountered folks that said, I want to get where you are right now. I said,
How is that possible?
really? That is the craziest thing I ever heard of. You got to go through some things to get somewhere.
You have to go through the fire. You got to be tested. Yes.
Yeah, and you
Yes.
have to have every scar I've had, but you need to get some ouch on you.
Yeah. I love that. Get some ouch on you. I'm going to write that down. Get some ouch on you. Okay. The next time a person say that to me, I want to know how you got where you are. I'm like, you have to get some ouch on you. Okay. That's going to be a quotable.
That's right. And my Mississippi come out of me and I don't hide it.
No, I love it. No, that was current, honey. I love that. So Genma, what do you do for fun?
I am an avid walker.
Oh.
And I say that's for fun because I had to take literally steps to make sure that I am not going to be one of these women of color dying before her dash was supposed to be there.
Right.
I walk. I love Girl Trek. Shout out to Girl Trek.
Nice. Okay.
I am an avid lover of Girl Trek. I walk by myself. I walk with folks. I walk over folks. I walk beside folks. I just love to walk, and it's become my go-to. It's become my go-to outlet besides reading.
It's a therapy
But
for
I
you.
walk because I have found out that it helps release the stress.
Stress and tension. Yes.
Yes, being in business is so stressful.
Mm.
So it has allowed me to be able to relax. And even when I'm on the phone, the only reason why I'm not walking while I'm talking to you right now is because I need to sit and be present for this camera.
Yes.
But ordinarily, if I'm on the phone and I'm in my office or at my home, I'm walking.
Okay.
While I'm talking to you on the phone.
I love
So
that.
I don't let any second go without me, without getting too relaxed.
Mm.
Now, after I get through with that walk at the end of the day, my body is ready for bed. Okay.
Yes.
So the walking has decreased my high blood pressure.
Nice.
Stress bring on high blood pressure. I don't care what there's too many business owners that I know that are stressed out and they have hypertension.
Yes.
I don't be one of them. And I'm a lover of books. I read just so I can tell you what happened in the chapter 15, because I know you're not going to get to 15.
So what are you reading right now?
Oh, I'm reading Becoming.
Okay.
And this is my third sweep of it.
You've read it already twice?
Yeah, I'm on my third read. I got the preview copy back a couple months ago
Of
because
course you
I
did,
did a
because you're Jama,
yeah.
of course.
I got to see her in Indianapolis, and it was just an amazing experience. And so when you get the preview copy, sometimes not everything is
Oh, yeah, in
in
the
there.
first edition, yes.
Yeah, and so so then I bought it because I wanted to pay for it. I really wanted to pay for it,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm reading a copy. I'm reading it again because the first time was more of an intellectual. The second time was more like, oh girl, let me find out what she did not put in the first one. And now I'm reading it like, oh wait, oh
So
no,
now you're
she didn't
enjoying it.
say that. Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'm listening to it on Audible. I'm an Audible girl.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm listening to it on Audible. I've made it to chapter 17.
Oh well.
So you should
Well,
say, hold on, hold tight.
hold tight.
Okay.
Hold tight.
Okay, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop.
Look, she get crunk up.
Okay. Okay. You got me excited. Okay, so becoming. So my last question is, how do you define a leader?
Oh, I look at a leader as a someone that serve others without sacrificing themselves. Because too often we have seen leaders sacrifice themselves.
Yes, and they check out early.
Yes, yes. I had a friend, and she was telling me about. She's a dentist, and she's telling me about one of these amazing dentists that she knew. And when I met him, I said, "But his teeth are crooked."
I can't, Jama. I'm gonna need you to stop it, okay? She said, "What, Jama?"
So we gotta
take care of ourselves. Yes.
So we, just like I said about the walking, and you can go to girlcheck.org, by the way. But walking, I had to quit doing and being for everyone else as a leader and not taking care of me.
Wow.
So I believe that you serve above self, but you don't sacrifice yourself.
You don't sacrifice yourself. That's right. That's right. You want to be your whole self.
You want to be your whole self.
Yes. So I have some very great takeaways from our conversation. One is that's okay to pivot.
Yes.
Pivot. And I'll tell you offline about my pivots, but don't feel bad about a failure in the pivot because you're learning along the way. And I have many more pivots to come.
Yes.
Network, which I would love to network with you in Tennessee because you seem like you're fun.
Oh, and listen, I'm going to take you to the restaurants with no bugs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take you to the best shopping. I'm going to take you. Everyone called me Miss Tennessee because I am the hospitality queen. When you come here, everybody going to know you my visitor and that you're here with me.
Love it.
And my customers are going to treat you just like you are one of their family members.
I love it. Yes. And in business, you need not be so transactional. You need to be relationship based.
Yes. And with that, we might not want to be vulnerable, but I say this over and over. What is meant for you, can't no one take it from you. They can't. They can't. And so the vulnerability of saying, hi, how are you doing? And wait till that person say, I'm not doing so well today. And then say, now, how can I help you? Do you need do you need something from me? If it's nothing but to sit there and listen to them saying how they're not doing well. Because we as Southerners, we'll say, hi, how you doing? And don't even wait for the answer.
Don't wait for the answer. We done breezed on by them.
We done breezed on by. And so I do believe in that personal touch. And I'm going to give you this. And if you don't believe me, quit sending these emails. Write a note.
Oh, I love a handwritten note. It blows people away.
It blows them away. It says you took the time. Now folks say, oh, you took the time to write me a handwritten note. I just call it home training, but if that makes it special, okay.
You're like, okay,
But
this is
okay,
the way I was raised.
that's how I was raised. But if you take the time to just send a handwritten note, email's okay, but it's nothing like
A
a
personal
card
touch.
in mail. Listen, Dollar Tree got these great, beautiful cards that you can go and stock up 2 for $1 and send cards all year round as holidays
I love
and
that.
related and stuff like that. People remember that.
Yes.
People remember that.
I love that. Well, Genma, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You have given me amazing gems. I know you have blessed our audience.
Thank you.
And listen, you're a giver, so I wouldn't have expected anything less. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You can find all of our past episodes on iTunes, Spotify, and Google, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Be sure to subscribe to the show, rate, and leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Thank you for listening.
You're listening to RMCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.